This is the Making Waves Mindset Show with your hosts, Richard Di Biase
and Dave Moskowitz. Learn from our journey as we share the ups and downs
of being your own boss.
This.
DJ checking in. This is MWMS.
So you can see it when I do this.
Oh, okay.
Welcome
everyone to the Making Waves Mindset Show.
Yes. Welcome.
It is 2023, Dave.
2023.
Can you believe it?
No, I cannot. I can't believe 2022 flew by. We're in 2023 now.
Absolutely.
How did we get here?
Well, Dave, I think as the sun rises and the moon sets, that's how we start a new day.
Wow. What a year. What a year it was. So many changes, so many different things, that emotions and different things that we went through. Look back to our year of podcasting. We started 2021, right?
Yeah, we did. That's what it says on our logo, Dave.
Yeah.
2021
we started, and now we are entering 2023.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, for those who are new to the show, as we excite ourselves with the beginning of a 3-year journey, the Making Waves Mindset Show is where we encourage you to challenge your mindset. You need to take action. We have a motto and a slogan that Dave and I try and live by every day, and it's to dream bigger, make waves, and take action in life. So we want to cover the lifestyle. We want to cover health and wellness, but business and entrepreneurialism and all those things that you need to make yourself great. And we don't stop at the no's on the show, Dave.
That's
when
right.
you hear a no, it's just another reason to keep going. So if it's your first time, welcome to 2023. And for those who have been here since 2021, thank you. Thank you for being our loyal audience.
This is the show that you want to listen to. If you don't, like I always say, if you don't like it, share it with someone who might. Yeah. There's lots of people in your lives. You never know who wants or needs to listen to two dudes, as someone has called us.
Yeah.
This is the show to help you move forward in life, wherever you are. If you are stuck in a rut, if you are thinking of making a change in your career, if you're thinking of making a change in your lifestyle, listen to our show. We will be that encouraging word for you. We have a lot of tips, tricks, and it doesn't just come from us. It comes from the guests that we have on our show. Yep. Listen to some of our back shows. Listen to episode 1 through 60 some odd that we are in now.
Yes.
Take some time during your workouts, your walks, your long drives if you're commuting. Put us on. Listen to us. Yeah. You might learn something. If you don't, keep on listening. You might learn something new in another episode. We have lots of guests coming up this year. We've built a lineup of guests who will give you their knowledge of how they got into either entrepreneurship, how they left the 9-to-5, how they moved forward in life, how they endured, and they will give you some tips and tricks and some education that you might be looking for.
The one beauty that one good part about the show, Dave, for those who are new, is that we cover those leaving the 9-to-5 who have left the 9-to-5 and are decades ahead of Dave and I outside of the 9-to-5. So, we have a mixed group, and it doesn't matter where you are in the spectrum. You just got to keep going. You got to go ahead. The journey can be lonely, as Dave and I have shared. I'm feeling a little lonely these days, Dave. You know why? But we're making progress. So I think, Dave, where do we start? What do we do for the beginning of this year's first show?
Let's cue the fireworks. It's been a great start to the year. Why don't we give our listeners and our viewers who are watching us on various platforms just a reminder, we are on all the platforms. If we are not on a platform, let us know. We can upload to those platforms as well. Let's give our listeners just a recap of where we are in our ventures and where we are in our careers. Absolutely. Moving forward, and maybe talk about some of the struggles or some of the wins that we've had. Like we always like to do on this show, is we like to talk about things that are not always peaches and cream. Yeah. We like to talk about the ups, the downs, the realities of everything. Because if you're just talking about only the good things, the Lamborghinis, the Ferraris, and and
What you see on social media,
yeah, and the
the end
roses.
result, but nobody talks about the battle
That's right.
before,
That's right.
you know?
We're not going to hide. We're going to tell you all the ups and downs. So let us dive into some of that stuff now. What have you been up to, Rich?
Well, Dave,
Let's start
we-
there.
yeah, let's take a quick dive back. So for those who are new, was a police officer for 13 years, left that. But before I left, a few years before I left, we decided to get into real estate investing. So we started aiming for the, multifamily commercial properties. That was our goal, but we had to pivot due to the COVID world. So we ended up with a bunch of single family homes. We were successful at completing our first flips and rent to owns and all that fun stuff. But then we decided we wanted to do more. We wanted to have another entrepreneurial journey begin and kind of sidebar and mirror and have that vertical integration. So, coincidentally, it wasn't like Dave and I planned both entering the franchise world, but it kind of came together. So we ended up purchasing a franchise that deals with home services. So any type of water, smoke, or fire damage, restoration services, that's what we ended up purchasing. So we've been working on that very closely, I'd say for like the last 6 months. I had to go all over the US for training, and we're just in this weird pivotal point right now because we've been trying to liquidate a property forever. And the market sucks in Canada. It is terrible. Now, here's my advice to those who don't understand what you should be doing with your money. I had just had another friend call me going, I want to buy another property. I don't know what I want to do. And I'm like, you gotta buy something. Don't let the interest rates confuse you with anything, because this is the time to buy. If you don't own anything, if you don't invest any type of real estate, you will be a renter for the rest of your life. The Western world is becoming a renter's nation. So as I kind of digress, nobody wanted to buy. We need to get this property sold. As soon as it's sold, it's going to free up additional capital for what we need on the equipment side. So we're just in this weird spot, Dave, and it's very effing frustrating. It's very frustrating. It's driving me nuts, to be honest. Like I thought we would have been rocking and rolling just before Christmas, but we're not.
So let's dive into that a little. So what have you been doing to sort of pass the time and sort of change up the pivot because of that issue?
Yeah. So a lot of the things we've been able to do, networking, researching, visiting some of our neighboring owners and understanding, the things that we can do now that we won't have the time for once we get the ball rolling, so to speak. But also with that, I wrote a children's book. But of course, publishing a children's book costs a little bit of capital. So the book's done, illustrated, completed. I have it. It's like, but I need a little bit more capital and I need to get that going. So it's okay. We're waiting on that. The other thing we're doing is we're partnering with a unified communications group. So we're going to be looking at companies that need to deal with solving that communication issue. So for example, there are businesses out there who are stuck in the old school legacy type landline system. They need something that's reliable. They need something that can be used even when the power goes down. So as another entrepreneurial journey, another challenge in life is trying to find those people and go, hey, we can bring you to a kind of like a Ring Central, a platform that uses cloud-based technologies where we can connect you via email, voice messaging, no matter what, anywhere around the world. So we're branching onto other things and we're not letting this roadblock stop us. But on top of that, Dave, I think it's very important. You have to take care of yourself. Yeah. I found, we've talked on the show, like we were always going to the gym, pandemic had come along. So then we ended up with the home gym. My home workouts sucked. Like I wasn't feeling that I was pushing myself to the true potential. So recognizing that if I'm not feeling good up here and down here, I need to make that change as a priority. It's a huge priority. So hammering back hard in the gym, and I'm already feeling a difference. I'm seeing a difference. That is making a huge impact on being an entrepreneur, being focused on what needs to get done and prioritizing the goals and objectives as a business owner. Like you can't sacrifice your health and wellness. You have to be on top of that. I'm not saying I was eating garbage. I was missing that thing. The benefits of a gym is huge, right?
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So hopefully that
Definitely.
makes sense, right? There's just
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much going on, but we're not just sitting around waiting for anything. And then of course, you're always putting out a social media thing from time to time or LinkedIn, but
Right,
you know,
right.
there's a lot that comes with, you got to focus on yourself too. You got to get that in check. If you're not okay up here,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to struggle everywhere else.
Yeah. That brings me back to the episode that we did with Tamara Trotman
Yes.
in terms of meditation and being mindful and getting within yourself and understanding who you are
Yes.
first and going back to your roots and understanding that. Lately, I've been so within my business
Yes.
that we're opening. There's a lot of connection to breath work.
Oh,
So
interesting.
so let me go back a little for those who don't know. So I was also in law enforcement. I worked with the one of the largest transit commissions in North America, and left that job and now decided to get into entrepreneurship. So we bought into a franchise called StretchLab, and we are the first in Canada to open up outside of North America. The brand itself is owned by a larger company, and it's a Starbucks of stretching. It is all over the world, or McDonald's of stretching, I should say. It's bigger than Starbucks. There's over 300 locations in the United States, and we are fortunate enough to have the first open location in Canada, and it
Which is
is
incredible.
in here.
Incredible.
Yes, and it's in Toronto, Ontario, and we are open as of Monday. We did a soft open and sort of studio preview, but we are open to the public as of Monday. So for
Is this
those
where
who
I
are,
insert the sound effects, Dave?
yeah,
Choo!
yeah, right,
Congratulations.
exactly, yeah,
Oh,
it's been a bit of a whirlwind to get here, but I'll get back to the story in a second.
yes.
But I want to talk about PNF stretching, which is what we do is, and it's part of the stretching. Basically, tricks your mind into allowing your muscles to stretch more. And it's assisted stretching, and in that there's some techniques that you use with breathing. So I've been getting into this breathing technique lately where there's a big following in terms of in the wellness community about breath work, and it's about centering yourself and just breathing and enjoying the breath that goes through your
Mhm.
body and sort of centering yourself where you're able to control your breath, to control your mind, which slows down your heart and allows everything just to flow a little better in your body. And we use some sort of breath work where during the stretching. So it sort of got me thinking of how
Interesting.
can I sort of center myself when I'm feeling anxious or center myself when I'm feeling overwhelmed with something that I'm doing. And it's a matter of it's almost like meditative state, but it's
Okay.
breathing and taking big long breaths into your lungs and filling your diaphragm and filling your stomach and filling your chest and feeling the breath go through you and then releasing it. And you'd be surprised. It releases your tension. It releases your mind. And we all breathe. Obviously, we breathe. If you're speaking, you're breathing. But are you actually thinking about breathing? And that's something that we don't do often. We don't think about breathing. So we're not actually taking enough oxygen in sometimes, and we're just going through the motions of life. When you're working out, you're breathing very heavily, right? In and out, in and out, in and out. But if you slow your breath down, it allows you to work out a little better and maximize your VO2. It sort of works on that basis. But breath work is sort of what I've been getting into lately and trying to center myself in that. There's a lot of benefits in using breath work to heal your body, to calm your nerves, lower your blood pressure, reduce headaches, stuff like that. So I've been slowly getting into that, and I find it's very beneficial, especially when, like I said, I'm feeling stressed. I don't know where I was going with this tangent, but let's get back into
No, but you were
what.
talking about trying to deal with those anxious moments as a
Right.
business owner and strategies you're using. And I want to throw in there too, for those who have an Apple Watch, there's a mindful setting that does this. It
Mhm.
forces you, and from time to time I've used it, but I haven't been so diligent. And then you kind of got me thinking at the gym, like breathing, when you're doing the heavy squats and you're doing the
Mhm.
deadlifts or RDL curls, I'm like, I caught myself the last 2 weeks for like, focus on the deep breathing,
Right.
in and out control, like center yourself. So this is really interesting. You've brought this up. Very
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah. So it's something we all should work on a little, and we don't do it enough. But yeah. So to get back into what we've been doing the last end of the year, and it's been an eventful time. I took a little vacation. We had to go for a wedding in Hawaii. I took a trip to Singapore, and all throughout this, it was a luxurious vacation. Had a great time.
Hmm.
The timing of vacation to the opening up of the business
Yes.
was not the most opportune.
Yeah.
But it's interesting when you plan a vacation of this magnitude going to Hawaii and
Yeah.
Singapore.
Yeah.
It was planned almost a year ago
Okay.
before we even found a location for the business, before
Yeah.
we even knew when we were going to open, before construction started, before any of that started. So just so happened that it was simultaneous.
The best part, Dave? You didn't have to ask a supervisor for for time off.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Good point. Good point.
Entrepreneurialism, guys.
Right. So the end of the year was great. We were able to finish construction for the StretchLab. We were able to finish construction about 2 months ahead of time. Contractor was amazing. Architect was amazing. We were able to get it all done. We got the equipment delivered and installed and ready, and we opened up the doors to a soft preview and soft opening on January 7th. Got our staff in there before, trained. And so now we've been operating since January 7th. It's been going really well. Our membership numbers are rising, and we are getting ready to make a big splash on Monday. We're having a bit of a party on Saturday with some members and some gifts and food, and we're moving forward. So for those of you who are in the GTA, who come downtown or would like to come down and give us a try, please look us up, stretchlab.com. Find our location, Toronto Downtown StretchLab. Sign up for a intro 25-minute stretch. Come on down. Tell them you heard us on the Making Waves Mindset show. There might be a little discount for you.
Oh, dang.
But definitely come check us out. We are new. It is not your average place. You've never seen this before. Like I said, we are the first in Canada. This concept is from United States. So if anyone is listening from United States, I'm sure you've heard of StretchLab. If you're from California or New York City or New York or any of those places across the United States, I think there's only one state or two states without a StretchLab, but every other state, yeah, there's over 300 locations, right?
I gotta check one for those who don't know. I'm down somewhere warm and tropical at the moment. You were telling me there's one very close to me, and I gotta stop by.
Not far from you. So
Okay.
please, yeah, go by. Yeah. The one thing about StretchLab that really drew us into the franchise to bring it was the concept of it's just stretching.
Yeah.
And we don't, for those of you who want to be mobile, who those of you who want to be more flexible, who those of you want to live longer, stretching is key.
Yes.
We do a lot of sitting, we do a lot of walking, and that all tightens your joints, it tightens your muscles, it tightens your ligaments. If you don't stretch them properly, they will eventually just get smaller and smaller and smaller. Putting a stretching routine into your livelihood, into your routine of life will ensure that you can last longer in life. So come to a StretchLab. If you're listening to this in the United States and you haven't gone to one, go to one now.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this in Toronto or the GTA, please come by. We'd be happy to have you there. But it's been good. It's been great. There's been very little hiccups so far, knock on wood. It's been very smooth in terms of launching. It's been there's been a couple things, right? There's always something small. There's a little fire to put out every day.
Yeah.
Nothing though that is overly stressful. Nothing that is overly there's a couple things like my signs. I wanted up before January, but the sign company shuts down for 2 weeks during the winter. What are you going to do, right? So they're getting our signs up hopefully tomorrow.
Okay.
That's what they told us. Other than that, we were able to get our equipment delivered and installed and a couple little things here and there, but the supply chain was a bit slow on delivering stuff. So other than that, but it's been great. It's been great. You work with what you have, and you work with what you can. But it's been well received here in Toronto, and I think it is something that is going to explode here. We're going to have more locations. We're going to be opening up some more stretch labs here in Toronto, and there's other people opening them up in other parts of Canada as well. Vancouver, various areas of Vancouver, British Columbia, I should say. So there'll be some in downtown Vancouver, Surrey, White Rock, and various other districts, New West and stuff like that. There's also going to be some built in Burlington, Oakville area as well. Not by me, by somebody else. So it is a growing brand. And we
You're the
welcome.
first.
We
You're
are
the first. That's amazing.
we get that badge of honor, right?
But it's incredible. Wear it with pride. That's amazing.
Yeah, but you know what? Being the first is good sometimes, but also
Yes.
being the first is you got to take a lot of, as my friend Grant out in Vancouver says, you take a lot of punches in the face.
Yeah.
So the first to do something is always the one who gets the brunt end of the stick and allows, either ruins it or allows everyone to come in easier.
Mhm.
So we definitely took some battles on as the first in Canada. We are definitely introducing it to the mass public. So hopefully by the time number 2, number 3, number 4 opens in Canada, people are going to be aware of us and know that it's a great product. And that's what it is. So we're here, we're happy. And like I said, if you are in the area, or even if you're not, and you want to drive into Toronto, come down and say hi. We're on Adelaide and Spadina. Brand new studio. Come on by. It's very open concept. It's really nice inside. Not just saying that, but we've had a ton of compliments on the design. And yeah, that's my story. And I'm sticking to it.
You know what? I wanted to add one of the reasons, because people ask, why we went to franchising. And I think I want to add in there that, you and I understand that as entrepreneurs, there are multiple things. Like you hear Tony Robbins talk, he goes like, I have 100 businesses, like we don't just stop at one thing, but there are benefits to a franchise where it's a model and you're buying a model. And yes, you are paying a small percentage in royalties. Yes, you are a business. It doesn't set you any lower than being an entrepreneur with an innovative product from scratch. The point is that it's something that we can get going. You need to do your homework. It's not like it's, a guarantee overnight. There are franchises who fail. There are owners who are not very successful. Yep. But what I'm getting at is you and I understand that it's one direction. We're helping someone, then we can move on to the next thing. At least that's what I'm going to be doing. We are doing. And it's just so much excitement. It's like, I wish I had some of this insight very early on, but as I've shared on previous shows, we were looking at other franchises in 2016, but we came so close to signing. Like I was there doing stuff, money was being moved, agreements were being reviewed. And it was like, well, you know what, let's wait. The timing was not right. So for those who are interested in franchising, Dave and I are more than willing to help kind of spread some additional mindset and insight. And if you are really confused, there are franchise coaches out there. We did have Giuseppe Grammatico on the show last year. And, he doesn't ask you upfront for money. His job is to find you a suitable, business that meets what you're looking for. And, it doesn't hurt to go through that process. So,
yeah, the one thing I tell everyone about a franchise is it's like a Lego. It's buying Lego. You go to the store, you go to the Lego store, you buy a box. The picture on the box is what you got to build inside. As long as you follow directions, your Lego will look exactly like the picture on the box. So that is basically what franchising is in a nutshell. It's Lego. Just follow directions.
Follow directions.
The one thing that has been very, very enlightening and sort of beneficial in our lives right now is the fact that we're able to give people jobs.
Yes, it's so true.
It is
so true.
So we have now, I should say, 6, 7, 8, 9 employees that we've provided incomes to, who are able to now use that towards whatever they're living, use it towards
mortgage, travel, anything,
right? Just anything they want. And the compliments we've been getting from these employees about this is an amazing place to work. The vibe is so good. I love working here. I'm enjoying it. I like the coworkers. We built such a nice place. This is the kind of stuff that is rewarding as a franchisee owner, because you are seeing just people happy.
Dave, you and I are
Happy.
people.
Yeah.
And this is, we've shared previously life before the 9 to 5, where I don't think your experiences and how you treat people are valued as much. And the fact that we now turn the tables and can inspire and help grow and foster our employees is a very rewarding experience. Knowing that you're going to build a culture where they're actually going to want to stay because they see that there is a future here. You're not flipping burgers at McDonald's, which, you're like, what do you do from there? There are opportunities. And as franchise owners, we can diversify to other locations, have regional managers. It's just like, it's endless, but you get to see the smile on their faces, knowing that you are responsible for their success, for their family. You get to meet their family, their kids. And that's what, we're going to be looking forward to the most, is going, listen, this is not a year thing. I want you to be here as long as we're running for years and years and years.
That's right. Yeah. And it's
Very rewarding.
It is very rewarding. And it's nice, to be able to treat people with respect and get it back.
Yeah.
And people don't feel entitled to have the job.
Yes.
There's this gratefulness that comes across when you see them. Just positivity. And maybe it's because of the industry, because we're in the health and wellness industry. You sort of have to be that way, but you don't get the feeling that anyone here is entitled. And I don't want to sit here and badmouth my previous positions and my previous job. There was a lot of good aspects of working for the corporations that I worked for, and it was great, but I dealt with a lot of entitled people.
Mm-hmm.
When you work in an agency where it's A personalities,
I was just going to say A personalities.
It is very tough to work there, and people will feel entitled to have those jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes out in everything they do and everything they say. It's funny. I have friends who are still working in those previous positions, and I had a friend who called me the other day, and he's telling me, he said, this person is not a friend of you. And I said, what does that mean? He goes, the person, and he named them, and he was like, yeah, they don't like you too much. I was like, oh, okay, that's good.
Well, that sucks. I don't like them. I don't know who they are.
So we went into a conversation about it, and I don't really want to talk too much about it, because it really doesn't really matter. But
it's draining.
It's the fact that it's been almost 2 years that I've been out of that, and the person is resenting me for something, or doesn't like me for something, or they heard or did, or it's that kind of stuff that encourages me to run a great business.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to move forward in my life, because when you look at life, and if you have time to gossip, and you have time to hate people and not like people, you're too entitled. Way too entitled.
You know what's funny? And I think it's important that we kind of address this, because as you leave the 9 to 5, put it this way, let's go back a sec. Gary Vee and others will and have spoken about, people don't like when others succeed. And so there will be a lot of very jealous and envious people. And
Yes.
I remember when I resigned under great terms, was never disciplined. Never. I had somebody actually call me the other day and go, were you in trouble? I'm like, no, they get so jealous and upset that you're doing something that they are scared to do, which was leave a job. It's not my identity. I had a great time. I was well respected in North America in my role. I did our media and our outreach, but it's the fact that there's more to life than being there. But when you make that big leap of faith into something completely different, there's a lot of resentment, there's a lot of jealousy, but there's all of a sudden the people that come out of the woodwork who never spoke to you when you were there but then they'll start like messaging, reaching out, contact. I remember, Dave, you're like, oh, these people are messaging our accounts. And I'm like, I haven't talked to this person in like 5 years. Like
right.
where were you for the last 5 years? So know that as you move your way, my advice to you is keep things under your hat. Don't share too much about maybe leaving the 9 to 5, what your true ambitions and journeys are. And when you move on, forget about some of those people. And I know it sounds terrible, but they become energy vampires,
Yep.
and they're going to try everything they can to damper you because they are scared of taking chances in life. They are scared of taking a risk. So you are the one that's brave enough. You have the integrity to move on and just smile, knowing, as Dave said, every day you're helping someone, you're providing food for somebody on their table, and you're making a difference in someone's life. And it's just an incredible feeling. It's just incredible. So just be prepared.
Yeah, it's funny because I wake up every day. I can look in the mirror and feel so good about what I've done in my past.
Yeah.
Good about what I'm doing in my future. And no matter what anyone says. And the one thing, the reason I bring it all up is because there's, just like you said, there's going to be people out there who hate you because of what you're doing. There's always going to be haters. Look at the most successful people in the world.
They're hated by so many.
Hated
you
by
have
people.
too much money.
Yeah,
You're too successful.
They're hated by people. Everyone, and even if you look at people who are liked, even who are successful. Look at people who social media people like. There's always a group who hates them. For example, a team wins their sport. What's the first thing people say? They cheated.
Yeah.
They must have done this. They must have done that. Weightlifting. Oh, the guy must be on steroids.
Yeah.
There's always somebody out there
doubting.
There's always going to be people who doubt you, and there's always going to be. So the one thing I would say is, and the reason I brought this up was just to show you that there's always going, no matter how good you're doing in your life, there's always going to be someone trying to bring you down. So what you need to do is just wash all that away and forget about it.
So it's funny you talk about it. So yesterday I threw up a picture, felt cute, might delete later, right? Just me on my walk, feeling good. And every year, Dave, we kind of spoke about, I have a new motto. Last year it was you had to, have good habits and kind of build that value of discipline. This year, it's basically stop caring what people think. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes I'd find myself like, okay, is this good? And now it's like, I don't care anymore. I don't care what you think. And you have to stop caring what people think. I bring up Gary Vee again. He coincidentally had something about this in the last 24, 48 hours where he's like, fuck yesterday. Stop caring about what they think. Just you be you, do what you want. If you want to open a nail salon, do it. Don't care. You want to climb Mount Everest, do it. You want to do anything, just do it. There's no reason for you to be limiting your true capabilities. And that's where Dave and I have those ambitions. That's why we gel together so well in policing, and we've moved on to become very successful and for at least me right now in the real estate world. And Dave, now you're in the business space with the franchise. We don't care what people think. We just do our own thing. So that's why I feel great like you. You wake up every day, you go to the gym, you do your breathing, life is good, as one of my former colleagues would say. Life is good.
I have nothing to complain about. I really don't. And it's been good.
It's been good. Dave, you reading any books? You got anything on the go right now, or?
I just ordered a new one.
Okay.
I just ordered a new one. Okay. It'll be coming in the mail hopefully today or tomorrow. Okay. What is it called? It's written by a U.S. Admiral, U.S. Army Admiral, or Navy Admiral, one or the other. Let me just look here. I want to get you the name. Are you reading any right now?
You go find it. Yeah. So I'm on to Tony Robbins. I've never read any of his books. By the way, he happens to have like a 5-day free online seminar. I think it starts this weekend. Anyways, you got to search it, find it. He has a whole website, a whole bunch of free stuff. It's called Unlimited Power. It's a thick ass book. And already into the chapters, it kind of goes actually to what we addressed at the beginning of the show, is not accepting no's. And he looks at how the most successful people in the world are successful. It's not because of money. It's not because of some magical pill or solution. It's because when they heard no, they're like, okay, on to the next person. And right off the bat, he talks about Colonel Sanders, who, by the way, lived in Canada. Shout out Mississauga, Tompkin Dundas, right?
Yes.
I was like,
right?
What?
I read that article just recently.
Yeah. And so here's an American comes to Canada, and he was trying to sell his recipe throughout the United States. Over 1,100 or so people are like, no, don't want it, till somebody said yes. And so that's the premise of the book, is going, the most successful people are not magically special over you. We all have the same power, and you just need to find it. So that's where I'm at. It's been a great read. And you got to start reading, people, if you're not reading.
That's right.
Just 10 pages a day after the 75 hard. That's what
right.
I aim for. Just 10 pages a day.
So I found the book, but I also got reminded of a story, and I'll tell you the story in a second. Bless you.
Yeah.
The story, the book is called Make Your Bed.
Oh, okay.
And it's by Admiral William H. McRaven. It's an older book. It's been out for a long time. It talks about the little things that can change your life and maybe the world.
Okay.
I'm excited to do it. And the reason why it sort of came to head is I make my bed every day.
Do you?
I make my bed every single day. There isn't a day that goes by where I don't make my bed. And it's been something that I've been doing. My father put it into my head from day one, and I just naturally do it. But there is a large group of people out there who do not make their beds.
Yes. I got it. So there's a few things. So as a kid, I always made my bed.
Yeah.
You get married, I don't make my bed. Then somebody said that my dad once said, well, why would I make the bed if I'm just going to get back into it and asleep again?
Right.
And then there was a study about all the germs that come alive when you make your bed, because the air doesn't get to breathe.
Okay.
So you trap it in. So ever since that, I just was like, I'm just not going to make my bed. But the wife, God bless her, she'll still do it, but I'm up before her. So let's, there's my saving grace. I'm on, I made it to home base there. I'm already out of the gym.
That's fair. I am as well, but I come back and make it when she.
Okay.
But I'm excited to read this book to see what his sort of take is on making the bed. So when I heard about the title, I was like, I got to read this book. So I just ordered it recently. But the story that reminded me about, the nose, stuff like that. So I'll tell you a little story. It was pretty enlightening. I was laughing to myself about it. In December, when we were getting the business ready, we had to get a security alarm system. So we had, I ended up finding Bell Canada to come in to do a security system. They do cameras, alarms on the windows, motion alarms, stuff like that. So the technician comes and he's installing the system. So he's like, oh, tell me about your business here. So I tell him about it. And I said, we're the first in Canada. He goes, what do you mean you're the first in Canada? Just like that. And I'm like, well, we're the first in Canada. He goes, so there was no one else? I'm like, no, we're, there's 300 locations in the States, over 300 locations. They're in
a whole bunch in the world.
They're in Japan, they're in Mexico, Dubai, stuff like that. I said, but we're the first in Canada. He goes, you're the first in Canada? And I said, yeah, the location you're standing in today that you're putting an alarm system will be the first in Canada. He goes, well, why haven't they come here before? I said, I don't know why they haven't come here before, but he goes, well, there's got to be a reason why they're not here before. I said, well, they're waiting for me to purchase a franchise to bring it here.
There has to be someone to take action, right, Dave?
And that's what I said to him. And it got me thinking. And I'm like, why is this guy doubting that we are the first in Canada and we are the first? And I think, when you think about it, it's sort of like, well, why didn't this come here before? Why wasn't somebody? But there's always got to be one person who brings it. And now that it being the first business to open up, this is definitely what every other franchise went through.
Yeah.
This is definitely what every other business went through. The first McDonald's went through this. Well, who are you? We're McDonald's. Well, why are you the first in Canada? Yeah. Well, because we are. Because we thought about bringing it and we were the first ones. There's always got to be one person who's brought the idea.
Change maker.
Change makers. And this is what it sort of brings to light of the closed-mindedness of people. Right? When you talk to people about doing something new and novel, people are scared.
They shoot it down.
Right. And so I just found it very funny that he was saying, why are you the first? How come you're the first? How come no one did it before you? Well, because we were the ones. Yeah. And it's just as simple as that, is we were the ones to do it. Yeah. There could have been somebody else, but it was us.
Yeah.
any business that you have here in Toronto, any business that you have here in Canada, there's always going to be one person who brings it first. Anywhere in the world.
It's true, and I want to word this in the right way. I find that a lot of people who haven't wrapped their head around that there's more to life outside the 9 to 5, they're
Right.
not grasping some of those concepts. And I have these conversations regularly. I don't, put anybody down, but I want to help educate them and go like, listen, there's a reason, why these things happen. It's because somebody took a risk. There's a reason why you have a job is because somebody, I'm assuming it's Alexander Graham Bell Canada. I'm just trying, I don't know the history, but somebody decided to invent the cell phone, right? And Brantford, Ontario, and create Bell Canada, right? So it's like, you wouldn't have this job at Bell if this person wasn't the first to do this.
Yeah.
So it's kind of having people understand that risk has to be taken. There's no magic person in the sky creating documents going, this is the new thing today. It's somebody, taking the initiative to do it, and that's the conversation, and they go, okay, I get it. I see it now. Right. So,
anyways, that's our story.
Cool. Well, it's been a good catch up, Dave. There's frustrations, but there's also staying positive, breathing, and taking care of yourself. But we have to take things one day at a time. So I hope everyone found value in the program. Dave, what of our mottos? What do we say here? Make waves. No, dream bigger. You have to dream bigger first. Then you have to make waves and then take action. Yeah,
We're rusty. We
are.
We are rusty. Episode 1 of 2023 is rusty, but
it's okay. Listen, what do we say? You don't have to have the perfect version. We're all about making the draft.
That's right.
I heard my dogs bark. I was like, nah, don't even care anymore. Who cares? Don't care. Don't care what you think. You don't like dogs, then go have a cat and meow. All right, everyone. Until our next episode, you know what to do.
That's right. Subscribe, and share.
Please comment, please like, do anything you can. Reach out to Dave and I, and we look forward to talking to you on our next episode.
Have a good day.